Alright, buckle up, buckaroos. You're in for a treat today. I got a story. Oh, man. So, you guys know about my heart pain. You may or may not have noticed on my community page on YouTube, I wrote that I was in the hospital today. So, here's what happened. As you know, let's just back it up a little bit and get you up to speed. July the 4th, coworker gets a high temperature at work, gets sent home, comes back with a positive coronavirus test. The Monday after that, I get sent, or after work, he tells me that I can't come back until I get my coronavirus check. And my boss and the other girl that was with us that day got theirs in like 2 days. And I, not having a general practitioner or doctor or whatever, had to go to the next town over and get my test done. And it took him like a week. And he was joking with me last night saying, would they use the Pony Express? So like today, or late last night, they called me and told me it was negative. But they couldn't send me the doctor's note because I guess it must be HIPAA reasons or something, but I had to go up there and physically get the doctor's note saying I go back to work. So, wake up this morning and my heart pain, it's like real bad. But I'm like, I gotta go do this, I gotta get back to work. Because, well, if the coronavirus is negative, that means none of these symptoms I'm having are from coronavirus. If it was coronavirus and I'm having this weird chest pains, I'm like, oh, this isn't really that bad for what they say coronavirus is. But for having nothing, I'm like, oh shit, this is like possible heart attack coming on. I might be about to have the big one or whatever. And I had a similar pain to this last fall. But it was more like of a bubbling up from my stomach and my lungs, and my whole back was really hurting a lot. Feels like when you need to pop your back and you just can't get it to pop. But if you get it to pop, it would feel good, sort of. But it felt like a hot spike going through your chest and coming out your back. Now it's more like in this side of my body, my heart area, and got hurting real bad. Like I tried to heat up some broccoli and cheese rice that I made, and I couldn't eat it. And I'm like, oh shit, I can't eat? Something's bad wrong. And then I knew I was fucked. I'm like, I've got to get to the hospital. So, didn't want to pay an ambulance bill, so I drove myself to the hospital. Hit every red light in town that you could possibly hit, which is how it always goes. So I get down there, and they start asking me the coronavirus questions. Like, have you ever been in contact with somebody with coronavirus? I'm like, yeah, like a week ago. Like, oh, well, come right this way. We have a special room for you. They put me in like a isolation room real quick. And they seemed like they were really on top of things, like treating me faster than they would treat somebody else that came to the ER. I don't know how they normally do it, if it's not like on TV. Whenever I go to the doctor, it's like takes them forever. But this, they were on top of shit because I had the coronavirus, so I guess they want to get me in and out as fast as they could. So, they come in. They hook me up to the EKGs. They put things all over my chest, my arms, give me an IV, and they start doing the EKG. Taking my blood pressure, taking all the questions. I don't have to fill anything out. They're writing everything down for me, which is good. And, let's see. I don't have any insurance. My insurance through my company is really bad, so I don't have it. It wouldn't, like, protect my house from being taken from me if I had, like, a cancer or something really expensive I had to pay for. So, don't have any insurance. It's probably going to cost me about $1,000, maybe more. I have no idea how much it costs for like an EKG. And then they brought in a woman that did a chest X-ray, and they checked my your heart and what do they call those things? The hormones. What's the word for hormones? Starts with E. To see if you've had a heart attack, whatever those things are called. I forget what they're called. And they checked all those. Everything was great. Pulse is good. Blood pressure's a little high, but good. No enzymes. Enzymes, that's what it was. Heart enzymes. They checked those, cardiac enzymes. So that means I hadn't had a heart attack. They said it looks like everything was good as far as the heart was concerned. But they said it was also good that I had like a continuous, constant pain, and that it hurts more if I move certain ways, because that means it's probably a muscular thing. And they ended up thinking it was like an inflammation of the lining of my lung or my heart, or the tissue in between my heart and my lung got inflamed, and that why when I take a real deep breath it hurts more. And I guess it leads to, it's kind of like an angina, I guess, but that leads up to heart attack sometimes. So I don't know. They think it's an inflammation. They call it this thing called costochondritis. And that sounds like some kind of made up disease for like, let's make it cost him a lot of money. Costochondritis. Let's put a big fat bill on the end of this. Costochondritis. And they put chest x-ray, one view, and EKG. So that's probably what I'm going to have to pay for. And then they gave me a prescription for some kind of anti-inflammatory drugs. And then this woman came in, she said, well, just sign here, initial here, and you can be out of here. So I did. And they still left this thing on my finger, and I'm like, do you want this thing? It's like, nah, you can take it off. I just pulled it off and left it on the bed and just walked out. Found the nearest exit sign and just walked out of the hospital. No, didn't talk to any billing people. Didn't talk to like any like outpatient whatever thing you do. I don't know if I was supposed to have, but I got the fuck out of there. Went to Walmart, took my prescription, gave it to him, and I'm like, I don't have any insurance. Is this going to be expensive? And she looks it up and she's like, $8.50. And I'm like, $850 or $8.50? She's like, $8.50. I'm like, oh, that's very nice. So like $9 of anti-inflammatory pills. And I'm supposed to be taking my blood pressure like every day and keeping it. I don't have one of those machines. I'm supposed to be getting like a regular family physician, a primary physician, but I don't have one of those. And diclofenac, that's what I got. I don't know if I want to do any of this stuff. I guess I should. Follow-up, screening today revealed the person's blood pressure to be in the hypertensive stage 2 range. Patient should follow up with a primary care provider for blood pressure management. Chest wall pain, costochondritis. So maybe I should do that. Here's a little drawing they give me. It just shows you what your lungs are. What does it tell me? Emotional stress, blah, blah, blah. They kept thinking I had like a wife. They were like, they asked me if I was married, and I said no, and I was giving my mom's phone number. It's like, oh, is that your wife? I'm like, no, not married. Why do you think? People think it's possible for me to get a chick. I don't understand it. I'm like, no, I just live at home with a little dog. So, now let's get to the interesting thing. As if that wasn't interesting. So, I come home, I take one of those pills with some food, some broccoli and cheese, and some blackberry cobbler that I made. And started feeling pretty good. It didn't hurt to sit up anymore. Didn't hurt to like stand up and like walk around and stuff. I was feeling pretty good. And then I decided, like 6 o'clock, I had some salsa verde chips with some vegetable soup. And now it's starting to hurt again. So it's related to spicy foods. Spicy foods is a part of it. So I'm sitting here like kind of hurting. And my dog starts barking. I look out the window, and there's my boss walking around in the driveway. Of course, he owns the church next door, so that's not really weird. So I walk outside, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, I just found before that, I went out to my mailbox, checked the mail. I found a little envelope, like a bank envelope, that had 2 quarters in it. And it had this written on it. Fucking light. $366.50 is what it says on here. So, I thought, well, somebody must have just took all their cash out and then chucked the envelope and they forgot about their 2 quarters. So I took the 2 quarters and the envelope and went inside, didn't think anything about it. Went out to my boss, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, did you lose any money? I'm like, no, but I know what somebody may have lost. I was like, he said, I just found $100 sitting right here next to the grass. Like 20 steps towards his church, and I could have had an extra $100. So then we started looking for this money. I'm like, there's another $266 out here somewhere. Fucking Leylines, dude. So I walked back towards my house, past my mailbox, and then right where the trees kind of start, I found a $100 bill, and a $20 bill, and a $1 bill. I found $121, and he's got $100, so that's $221 from $366. So there's like another $145 out there somewhere. I looked on both sides of the road. I really give it a good thorough looking. But these Leylines, man, I got this chest X-ray to pay for, and there's an extra $121 just out of nowhere. My boss says, because I think his land is kind of on this Leyline too a little bit. He dropped his phone today and shattered it, and then he finds $100. It's like if you need something, the Leylines provide. I don't know who's lost $366, but they probably have no idea where it blew out at. I don't know. It seems like you would see like $366 flying out of your car. But that's about how much. If you remember my old video of my material losses, top 10 material losses, I lost about that much money that time in that envelope. I had it in my mouth. I came out of the bank. I'm putting stuff in my wallet. I put the envelope of money in my teeth to get my keys out. And I get home. I'm like, wait, what happened to that envelope of money? And it was gone. It wasn't in the car. So I must have dropped it right at the bank stairs or something. So this is about how much I found, or the envelope said it had in it. So that's interesting. So then, like, also besides all this chest pain and stuff, I've been having like bumps. Let's see if you can see these bumps, like on my arm. They're like mosquito bites or something. Like right in here. See all these bumps right here? Look at all those things. I'm getting them on like my knuckles and my hands, the back of my hand, my elbows and stuff. Got these bumps all over me. I don't know if there's like been a rogue mosquito got in the house and just chewed me up all during the night. But then I was thinking, what if it's fucking bed bugs again? Because those are my arch nemesis. I used to have a real bad problem with bed bugs. Couldn't get rid of them. And then just a minute ago, I went to take a shower, went to the closet, and there's a bug on the top of the closet. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Don't let this be a bed bug. Went and got my flashlight, poked it up there. I was like, oh, thank God it's a fucking tick. There's my dog. Maybe she's found $100. I need to let her sniff some of my cash. Anyway, that's today. Quarantine day 9 or whatever it is, but shit, it's been a rough one. Been in the ER. And I gotta go back to work tomorrow. And I gotta go to bed.